Streamer.Bot supports several streaming platforms, one of which is Twitch. If you don't use this platform, you can hide its tab by right-clicking on the tab header and unchecking this checkbox. This will only hide the tab, it won't remove platform triggers or sub-actions. You can do this in Settings under User Interface by unchecking the corresponding checkboxes and restarting the Streamer.Bot. Twitch Accounts. On this tab, you can connect your Twitch broadcaster and bot accounts. You can use the broadcaster account for both, but it doesn't make much sense, because everything the bot account can do, the broadcaster account can do as well. Only the broadcaster account is required to access Twitch functionality in Streamer.Bot. Here you can see controls related to the broadcaster account. If the account is not logged into Streamer.Bot, you will see a corresponding message along with a placeholder for the avatar. The login button opens the Twitch authorization page in your default browser. Don't share the links you see in your browser's address bar with anyone while authorizing, as they contain sensitive data. Always verify that the URL is genuinely from Twitch. While I'm not aware of any cases where someone tried to attempt a phishing attack using Streamer.Bot, it's better to be safe than sorry. We live in the wild times. If you are not logged into Twitch, you will need to log in first. If you are logged in using a non-default browser, you can simply copy this link to your desired browser and it will authorize Streamer.Bot there. You have 60 seconds to complete the authorization process. If this time limit is exceeded, Streamer.Bot will display an error indicating it did not receive a response in time. Clicking Authorize after the timeout will not work and you will need to restart the process. You will see a long list of permissions that Streamer.Bot is requesting from your account, detailing what it will be able to do on Twitch on your behalf. I hope you can read fast, really fast. Remember, you have only 60 seconds to complete the authorization process. Seriously, you should always read these things when granting access to any application. All of these permissions are required. You can't opt out of any of them. It's all or nothing in this case. Click Authorize if you agree. If not, well, you won't be able to use Twitch functionality in Streamer.Bot. So when you are ready, simply click the login button again and then click Authorize. This will redirect you to special response server running on your machine for the duration of the authorization process. Once that's done, you can close the page and head back to Streamer.Bot. If after an update Streamer.Bot needs to change its authorization scopes, it will notify you and you will need to reauthorize it. After logging in, you should see your avatar, name and account type. The login button will change to a logout button, but it actually just disconnects the services from Streamer.Bot. If you click the logout button, it will change back to login. The next attempt to login will not require re-authentication with Twitch and will log you into the previously used account. If you log out and restart Streamer.Bot, it will log you back in automatically. Forget! This button removes the account information from Streamer.Bot, allowing you to use another account or reauthorize the old one. In the Services panel, you can disconnect or connect individual Twitch services. Chat Client. This service is responsible for chat functionality. It's an IRC client connection, though Twitch is migrating away from this, and some functionality has been moved to the regular API and Event Sub services. Pop Sub and Event Sub. These services are used for listening to Twitch events. For more details, you will need to refer to Twitch documentation. I will leave a link in the description. Here are the controls for the bot account. They are the same as those for the broadcaster account and function in the same way. The only difference is that the bot account can only use the Event Sub service.